Spencer Fearon, we're here today at the Frank Warren press conference to announce Nathan Cleverley's next opponent. Unfortunately, the opponent wasn't announced, but they're close to getting a fight with Kovalev. Tell us a little bit about Kovalev, because you obviously follow boxing quite closely, so you know about him.
Why would I know? Now, Kovalev's very, very good fighter. You know what I mean? He's teeth tough, unbeaten, throws a lot of punches, and he can punch. And you know, he was on. He's on NBC, and he's got a link up with HBO as well. So he has to be a serious guy. So you got a good promotional team behind him. He's a serious guy, man.
Nathan Cleverley's fought some tough guys on his way up and leading to getting a world title, but he's also fought guys like Murat, who was going to fight Hopkins but pulled out. Do you think he gets enough credit for the opponents that he's fought to date?
I mean, I actually feel sorry for Nathan because you know, it's like he's overlooked a little bit. Get him the fights. You know, you got to give him. Everyone's ranting. He's a good fighter, and you have to realize, like, as well as him being good, he's a multifaceted kind of fighter. You know what I mean? Because sometimes he does wear his heart on his sleeve where he wants to fight everybody, but that's just his nature. But he should be given his dues, because the guy, as soon as he fights a top name, an elite name, his style of fighting, because he throws so many punches, he could beat anybody.
Do you think he could even beat someone like a Kyle Froch if they met at, say, 170?
He could beat anybody. Didn't you hear what I said? So listen, and end of the day is this. I'll tell you what's said. You know what I mean? This is the thing what should happen, because he did say that he offered to come down in weight to fight Carl. So if he is, you know what I mean? You know, I mean, the man to my left, Frank Warren, and the man who's not here right now, at the end, they should sit down and try and negotiate a deal, because that'd be brilliant for British boxing.
In the sort of pantheon of great light heavyweights over the years, we've obviously had Roy Jones was sort of flying the flag in the light heavyweight division for almost a decade. Where do guys like Nathan, where do guys like Chad Dawson, Tony Bellew, where do they rate in the sort of the all-time list of great light heavyweights, and even years back?
Listen, number one is this: when you're talking about light heavyweights, we have to touch on the murderer's row. So if we're touching on the murderer's row, then you had great fighters like Ezzard Charles. You know what I mean? Ezzard Charles in 1941, I believe, fought Charlie Burley. Charlie Burley is a great historic fighter who Sugar Ray Robinson allegedly didn't want to fight. You know what I mean? He fought him twice in about 5 weeks. You know what I mean? And beat him twice. In the time that he beat Charlie Burley fought a guy called Holman Williams, who was another murderer's row black fighter, who's an incredible fighter. At the time was 95 wins with 5 losses, and Charlie Burley beat him, then fights Ezzard Charles again. So if you're looking at, when you're talking about light heavyweights, they're great fighters. Lloyd Marshall, who came over in the 40s and totally annihilated Freddie Mills. But yet Lloyd Marshall could never be Ezzard Charles. Ezzard Charles must really one of the greatest light heavyweight of all time. Then, you know what I mean, just last night you're talking about light heavyweights. Archie Moore. How great was Archie Moore? Archie Moore, 1955, who was a light heavyweight, even though Rocky Marciano was 13 stone odd, but fights Rocky Marciano in a incredible battle and knocks him down with like a semi-shoulder roll, drops in a straight right hand. It wasn't even a heavy shot, but it was just a perfectly precise shot. So when you're dealing with light heavyweight greats, there's so many. You know, Harry Greb, who was a light heavyweight and a middleweight, who had 303 fights. You know what I mean? And had the classic encounter with Gene Tunney. They fought like 6-7 times. So when you're looking at like great light heavyweights, there's so many great light heavyweights that I know of that would be so difficult for me to say where do these guys match up. How we match them up in years to come. When everything's gone and the dust is settled, then we can look on them, because loads of people can be jumping to the hype and say, oh, this guy's so good and da-da-da-da and all the rest of it. You know what I mean? Joe Kawasaki, was he a great light heavyweight? No, he wasn't. He was a great super middleweight. You know what I mean? He only had two fights at light heavyweight against 2 allegedly old men and got knocked down in both occasions. So, you know, by old men. So as a light heavyweight, can we put Joe Kawasaki in it? No, we can't put him in it. But we have to say that Nathan Cleverley, if he continues to win and continues to build on his momentum, then you never know. He could be up there, man. He could, because he can fight, man. No one else does. No one else does.
You mentioned there Joe Calzaghe. Do you think it's a little bit of a case of history repeating itself? Because all those years ago when Calzaghe was a WBO super middleweight champion, he was struggling to get the big names over from America, and it wasn't until the very end of his career that he got those, so say, defining fights. But I was just talking to Frank Warren earlier, and we were just saying it was 10 years ago that they were trying to put together the Calzaghe Hopkins fight, and now here we are 11 years later even, and we're talking about Cleverley Hopkins. Do you think it's just something, not just about being from Wales, but something about not having that stateside profile that means those big fights do go missing sometimes?
No, sometimes it's not only that, but sometimes it's like you're being too good for your own good. And let's come on, man. Everyone, let's be real, yeah? When we think about light heavyweights, we think Tony Bellew. And this guy's beating Tony Bellew. I'd like to see what would happen now in the return. I think that fight, I'd pay to see it because, Tony Bellew is WYSIWYG. What you see is what you get. And Nathan Cleverly is multifaceted as well. And if you hit him with a hard shot, he wants to give it back to you. So I'd like to see that return. There are so many, and it will come. It's just got to keep all Nathan Cleverly's got to do is just keep on winning, and that's what he's doing. You keep on winning, then you're gonna get it. It's gonna come.
And let's just talk a little bit about you, Spencer. You're doing some great work on the Toe to Toe podcast on Sky. You're getting being able to showcase your great knowledge for the sport there, but also you're obviously working, managing, promoting, etc. As your other role as well. Let's just talk about a few of your fighters and the Sky work as well.
Well, let's be real. I've got Darren Hamilton on the 6th of July. And Darren Hamilton's defending his title against Adil Anwar. It's going to be a very good fight. Darren Hamilton, we got in history to know, like, the first man of colour ever to win the British title was, do you know what that was? It was Randolph Turpin's brother. Dick Turpin beat Hawkins in 1948, I believe. So we flipped the page now. We flipped the page some 60 years now. And as we flick the page, Darren Hamilton is the only man of colour to be British champion. So then that means a lot to me, because that means that there are children in deprived areas of the same skin tone as me who are killing themselves at an alarming rate because of this gun culture, that they can look on someone like Darren Hamilton, who has been shot at, who has been homeless, who's been broke, who's been on the degradation lines, and say, right, well, Darren Hamilton's now British champion, so I can tap into the God within, and I can do things as well. So that means a lot for me. And the toe-to-toe things ain't great because I get to talk boxing and they pay me. Imagine that, they pay me to talk it.
That's brilliant, Spencer. Thanks very much.